Alright, so I have 3 minutes to explain myself here in this YouTube short. So basically I want to explain to you why chord tone targeting can be a lot easier than you think. So what exactly is chord tone targeting? Chord tone targeting is the answer to the question of how do I play to the changes? How do I keep up with the chord changes? This is where you start paying attention to the chords that you're playing over. You do not need to switch scales if you're just playing in one single key. A lot of times when guitar players are learning to solo, they learn to play in key. The band's playing something like A minor to F major to C major to G major. All of the chords are in the same key. That's the key of C major or the key of A minor. They learn how to play those scale patterns. They learn how to noodle up and down the entire neck of the guitar in that key because everything's going to sound good as long as they play in the same key as what the rhythm section is playing. Now that is a great thing to be able to do, but a lot of guitar players, they get stuck there, and that's what I refer to as layer 1. So layer 1 is where you just learn how to play in key. It's going to sound pretty good, but it's not really going to have your leads sounding super connected to the underlying chords. That's where layer 2, chord tone targeting, comes into play. That's where you focus on specific notes within this big scalar framework, and those notes change as the chords do. So over the A minor chord, the notes of focus are going to be A, C, E. Over the F major chord, the notes of focus are going to be F, A, C. Over the C major chord, C, E, G. Over the G major chord, G, B, D. So it's still the same one scale the entire time. It's just that your notes of focus within that one scale change. Now, a lot of times when guitar players first hear about this concept, this overwhelms them. They're like, how am I going to keep up with all that stuff? You know, I have enough trouble trying to remember these scale patterns. How am I also supposed to know where all these chord tones are and keep up with the chord changes? My brain just doesn't work that fast. It's not going to work that fast. I can't do it. But you can, because it's a lot easier than you think. Because a lot of times chord tones are just either going to be the same note as the previous chord or just one scale note away from the previous chord. So here's an example. Alright, so hopefully as you can see in that demo that I was only really focusing on the chord tone targeting aspect right at the moment that the chord changes were occurring. Everything else was just noodling within the scale patterns, which is probably what you're already doing already. Anyway, so if you want to hear more about this stuff and learn all about this kind of stuff, I have this entire website. It's called zombieguitar.com. Lots of lessons on chord tone targeting on there. Check it out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.